Continuing with our Mountain Memories series here on Manx Radio. And how are you, Matthew Rees, in Aberdabadoo, or wherever it is, Aberdare Park? Good evening to you.
Good evening to you too. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Aberdare Park. Yeah, it's been a good race. Probably the first road race I ever done, to be honest, which gave me the bug for getting onto the roads. We've actually had some good results here as well over the years, and it just keeps getting better and better there. Absolutely love it. Didn't get a chance to race here last year. I was injured, so we missed it last year. But they actually resurfaced it all as well. So I'm quite looking forward to going back there this year. And unfortunately, everything's been cancelled.
It's quite a friendly little club, I'm led to believe.
Sorry?
It's quite a friendly little club down there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very friendly. It's good. It's very friendly. We get a lot of riders coming from all over the place. I think they've had some top names there. Carl Fogarty, Neil Tuxworth. I think Neil Tuxworth actually ended his career there in Aberdare Park.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving from one of the smallest tracks on the UK road race circuit, because that's what it is, to the big track.
Yeah.
The mountain course. Tell us about your mountain course debut in 2014. What do you remember about that? It was the Manx Grand Prix, obviously, first off.
Yeah, it was a very exciting year, and it was a very challenging year that year. We had a big lineup. We had like Billy Redmayne there, Malachi, Mitchell Thomas, Craig Neave. There was a lot of good boys there. Dave Sellers. It was quite a lot. It was a tough year to become a newcomer. Probably the toughest year, to be honest. And yeah, it was a good year. I was actually leading the newcomers race for the first lap. And I think I got a little bit too excited and got a bit of arm pump. And sort of backpedaled a little bit and finished fifth. But it was still a good result for the competitors that was lined up for that year. It was a really good year, actually. And
then the Junior Manx Grand Prix the same year, finished in 17th. And again, both on Kawasaki's, both on the same bike.
Yes, Kawasaki. Well, if I'm honest, I've been on Kawasaki since I've started. I've tried other bikes, but I've always gone back to a Kawasaki. I feel comfortable. It's always gelled with the Kawasaki, and that's where I think I'll always stay, to be honest.
Your first TT was 2015. Tell us a little bit about that. It's a different ball game altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I should have stayed in the Manx for another year, but I had a good result, good lap times first year, and TT is where everybody wants to go, so why not? I went for the big bike, then we went over. I think we had quite a good year. I think 2015 got me now. It was a few years ago.
48th in the senior.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? 42nd in Supersport 2 and Superstock TT 44th. And that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I think my best result there, I think it's about 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a couple of years on. And it was good. It was a good year, that was. I was actually running the 2015 ZX10 as well. Absolutely loved that bike. And then we moved on to the following year, and we changed the bike into 2016.
I've got to ask you about, the Isle of Man and the memories. Or what did you know about the place before you decided to come here and do this race?
Well, before I decided to come to do it, I always used to watch the Isle of Man on TV. I never actually got over there to watch it. And then, because I was always big into my off-roading and supermoto and things like that. But I kind of raced Aberdare Park on the supermoto and decided then to jump on the road bikes. And then obviously after watching the Isle of Man for so many years, that is where I wanted to be. So I sort of just raced wherever I could. I travelled all over the country one weekend. I think I'd done 3 races in one weekend just to get my signatures rushed through, to get my national licence to get out to the Manx. It was probably one of the quickest to get my national licences, to be honest. But I just about got it in time. And then managed to get out to the Isle of Man for the first time. I think it would have been the end of 2013. I started learning. I was coming over for weekends, and I just kept coming over probably once a month at least, probably doing 15 laps in a car on a weekend.
Who did you do them? Who did you do the laps with? Who was showing you the way around?
Oh, I was honoured. I had so much help, right? And I apologies if I can't remember anybody, but I started off obviously with the legend himself, Milky Quayle. I think he met me on the start line for my first ever lap, but I think it was a bit too much for me, to be honest, for the first lap, because it was a bit too much information for the first time round, because he knows it too well. But I was glad enough to get around that weekend and then I did get back out with Milky again, but I think I've been out with Paul Owen quite a lot, Derek McGee, Ian Lacher, God, there's been quite a few I've gone out with, yeah.
And what did you think the first time you got, looking down Glencrutchy Road? And it's a question I ask a lot of guys, and a lot of people say they can't really remember it, or it's just a blur. Can you remember that, putting your orange bib on and in the holding area and getting up that little ramp? And hopefully with me saying this to you, you've now got it in your mind's eye, and you're on Glencrutchy Road and your mates are giving you a little bit of information. Milky's maybe coming to speak to you. Tell us a bit about that experience.
It was like, to be honest with you, I fell on it the first time because I had Bruce Anstey putting my tyre warmers on for me in the first race. So there's not many people get that today. It was, I'd be honest with you, I can remember I was quite excited for it. I don't think I ever really suffered with nerves then, thinking about things. I never really overthought things. I just got on with it. And going down Braille for the first time, just magic. It's the best thing you can ever do. I think they say it's worse than the drug, and it actually is. It's very addictive.
I think you're not the first, and definitely won't be the last rider to say that. Obviously, the bike's in the background, all the gear's ready, and you are like so many hundreds of other bike racers around the UK and around the world, just want to go and race, don't you?
Oh, but I absolutely get it this year. We were so ready for it. We've done so much preparation. I had a new team lined up. I had a team lined up from Ireland, so we was going to do all the Irish roads, and obviously they were going to come over to the TT and do the man with me as well. We'd been out testing twice out to Spain. We was lined up for the third test in Spain, and I got home just in time as it all kicked off. So Derek's bikes are still in the workshop. They're stuck in Wales now.
Oh dear. Well, I've got to ask you about your Kawasaki involvement. You've obviously been there with Kawasaki from the start. What sort of help do you get from Kawasaki? Is it UK, is it?
Yeah, Kawasaki UK, but it all stemmed from my local dealer called GT Superbikes, who's one of the main Kawasaki dealers in South Wales. And they've been very loyal ever since 2012, same year, vice versa. And the loyalty sort of moved up a level, sort of got to know the main guys in Kawasaki, and then we managed to get Kawasaki UK direct sponsoring us in through GT Superbikes. And I'll be honest with you, without their help, I wouldn't be racing. So please keep it up.
What about the injury level? Because you've had a few over the past couple of years. How's that going?
Well, I'm actually suffering with a few injuries now. I've actually purchased a jacuzzi now for the hydrotherapy. I'm undergoing at the moment. I'm in a MotorFit program. It's dedicated for motorbike racers.
Oh, okay.
It's an online program, and they're based in Aberystwyth. And you do a pre-test program. They see where you're weak and where you're strong, and they design programs for you once a month. And then on the month, then you go up to the gym. You have a group session. You get in the ice bath. You have a bit of recovery. You do gym session on a Saturday, bikes on a Sunday. But it's all purely dedicated to motorbike racing, and it's absolutely brilliant. I was feeling so good for this year, going on the training that I've done and all the riding I was doing. I was really excited for it. Yeah.
I think, again, you're not alone in that. A lot of guys suffering from injury at the end of last year, get themselves fit over the winter months, work so hard, enduro bikes. I think you've just been out on your trials bike or something. You sent me a picture.
I've been lucky enough. Steve Plain Motorcycles helped me out with Beta 300. So we've been doing, where I'm living in the back garden, we've got a good trial section. So I do get out pretty much every day.
In your back garden, you've got a trial section?
Yeah. It's been a bit spoiled down in Wales.
Let's go back to the mountain circuit and have a little bit of a more chat about that. When you move to the TT and you're out on track and you've got all the top boys, I mean, have you ever followed somebody around and had to kind of think to yourself, that's John McGuinness, that's Ian Locker, that's Guy Martin, that's Paul Owen, just for a joke. But these guys you follow, have you ever thought that sort of thing in your head?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest with you, I tell you who I really took a shine to once was Bruce Anstey coming through the 13th mile. And it's so technical coming down through that section. And I watched, he come past me and he was so smooth, and the speed he carried through there, it was just phenomenal. And he really did impress me.
And you still, because it's your only, you've been the TT, well, this would have been your fifth year, wouldn't it, at the TT?
Yeah.
So Still
yeah,
learning?
no, we have been getting better. We was on for our best result last year. We had a couple of years off the big bike because funds were a little bit tight. So we was only really running the 600. And obviously I've been involved with University of Bath with the Zero project, which has been great. And last year, yeah, on the 600, we was actually on for our best result. We was running top 20 and we coming over the bungalow on the last lap. Had a fuel issue with the fuel pipe. But it does happen. The Isle of Man is a challenge and it's very hard on the bikes and yourself when things do go wrong. It can't be helped, unfortunately.
If there's a way, it is one of those things. I mean, little 50 a little wire breaking can wreck an Isle of Man race, as we all know.
And it's so easy.
Looking to the future, when this coronavirus pandemic has gone and we can get racing again, hopefully the team that you're with are going to keep you on for next year, because fingers crossed we can get going this year, but if we don't, you'll be all right for next year, will you?
Well, definitely. I'm hoping. I can't see any races going on this year, but if we can get out practicing out towards the end of the year, at least get out to Spain over the winter and get some time on the bikes ready for next year, because being off the bike this long is not good, really. We need to be riding as much as we can, which I'm happy to be riding a trials bike a lot at the moment. I'm doing a lot of mountain biking as well. So
that's dangerous, that is. You need to be careful.
Well, yeah, but I do a bit of cross country, safe. Keeps the legs turning.
Up the hills, down the hills, or just flat?
Yeah.
Do you go up
Sorry?
Do you go up hills and down hills, or just stay on the flat?
Up hills, I don't like the up hills. I love the down hills, yeah. It's going downhill. It gives you the full workout. It's exactly why you need to ride the bike. You know, you get arm pump by the time you get to the bottom. So it's good.
Yeah. Just going to go back to TT last year, it was, as we all know, it was a bit of a disaster weather-wise, wasn't it? And as a rider, how do you cope with those sort of things? Because I don't think I've ever asked you this one. A lot of riders deal with it differently.
It's hard because you're on edge all the time. It's the only time I get on edge is when you're hanging about. Constantly riding, it's great because you haven't got time to think. But when you're sat in the paddock and you're twiddling your thumbs, then your mind starts thinking, and are we going to get out? And then when you are going out, I feel you get tired because you're just thinking all the time.
Mentally tired. Mentally
tired, yeah. Find it harder hanging about than sometimes than just getting the laps in.
Any part of the course that you wish, I could just do that a little bit better, or I could just, any part you want to tell us about?
Yeah, the 13th mile.
You have to speak to Bruce and ask him about that one. But
I did ask him, but he don't like 12, I don't think, because
he would have just gone here.
Got morals, and he gets friendly, and if you get hurt, he'll feel a bit guilty for it, I think.
Yeah, I suppose
that's what it is with Bruce. It's not that he doesn't want to help. It's one of them, yeah.
He's a good chap. And are you about to jump in the jacuzzi again?
To be honest, it's mainly through Paul Owen, the link, because Paul has been such a big help over the years, behind the scenes, helping with laps and, getting me involved with the likes of Bruce and other people as well. Anything to do with the Isle of Man, I find all the riders, we're all there to help each other, to be honest. It's a good paddock to be in, definitely.
Has anybody ever given you a pointer at the Isle of Man, at the mountain course, and you've gone, oh yeah, a little pointer about a corner, and you've just thought, oh, yeah. Yeah,
there's so many I've had so many different pointers, and there's so many different ways people will tell you when you try them, and you've just got to go for what works for you, really. Do you know what I mean? The more once you're flowing, you know the track inside out, then every time you get quicker, that line is going to slightly change anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And like Ian Locker's already said to me, that I've said on many occasions, the course changes from year on year, doesn't it? So that's the way
of course it does. Yeah, the tarmac changes. The cambers even change. All sorts of changing.
Matthew, it's been a pleasure to speak to you tonight. The bike's looking fine in the background. There's no flies and dirt on it yet, but I'm sure there will be, hopefully before the end of the year. But if not, it will be next year. You guys down there in Aberdare, please stay safe. You and your brother and all your family, etc., like that. And we'll hopefully see you between the hedges very, very shortly. Matthew Rees, thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you very much, Chris. Cheers.